Hey, hey, hey.
Mr.
It's
Boomtastic. Oh,
it's Watercraft Watercraft Network Wednesday.
uh,
Little
I don't know
shit.
about you, but I'm whooped.
Well, I dug the Shaggy though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Just rocking it old school. Prepping before the show goes live.
I figured I'd do something a little different.
Yeah,
Doing push-ups.
it was pretty cool. Something different. Never know with this crowd. Could be some old school hip hop. Could be some Dr. Dre gangster music or a little Guns N' Roses.
Or Moonshine Bandits.
Could be the Shiners. You never know. A little up church going when we're around here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're all over the place. Musically, people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Can't define that, and we're like, there's no defining Watercraft Network. The original bad boys of PWC podcasts.
Here comes those white guys.
By the way, if you can't tell, he's back.
Bishop's back.
That's right.
He's back better than ever. How you been, man?
Very good.
Busy?
Busy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you've
Very
been
busy.
like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Yeah, and I'm getting my ass kicked.
Oh, hey, such is life,
But it's good. Everything's good. House hunting, and trying to work.
How's the-
I finally got promoted, and I'm out in front of the dumpster.
Hey, $20, $20, whether you're out front or out back.
So are you getting a commission then on this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, speaking of, how I remember you did an oil change with Liquid Moly in your truck. How's that been?
That's been good. Dude, it's all I use in my pressure washer. It's in the back of my truck right now,
Yeah.
and I just constantly keep using it. I don't care. I'm not going to anything else.
I would swear that the STX 160, which is bone stock, has no mods. I swear to you, it's like quicker than it was last year.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I know there's no way to to gauge last year versus this year, but that seat of the pants feel, I'm telling you, the boat feels better.
Oh, it
Just-
ran good when you got it out of or off the lot. It ran fine
Yeah,
to
no,
me.
but I'm just saying, I don't know if it's finally broken in or, we did an oil
No.
change on it in the
I mean,
spring.
the other way to find out is we do a little test. We do a test the way it is now, and then, not that we want to keep it in there, but do another test with, say, brand A.
A different type of oil.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know it's faster top end because, but the PWC speedometers are you can't.
Inherently off.
Yeah, you just can't really go on those or being accurate. But
I know the one on a GP 1800, you can't. It just doesn't keep up.
I was just curious how you're making out with the liquid moly because I think our stuff running liquid moly is just. Hey, look, we've
well, like I said, I don't trust anything else anymore. I don't even see other brands when I walk into the Advanced AutoZone. I don't care.
yeah.
Just get me a filter.
That's it. That's the only thing Liquid Wiley doesn't have.
Yeah.
True.
What?
Yeah, no, it's just such a great product, and I think pretty everything we've put it in, we've just had success with from, pressure washers, like even your home pressure washer, your commercial grade washers, lawnmowers, snowmobile or snow blowers,
Yeah, we've put it in the zero turn. We've put it in,
all the skis.
and then some.
You did oil change, what was it, last year in the winter, and then damn near the spring did another oil change just to swap out with a Liquid Wiley.
Yep.
So there's got to
Yeah.
be something behind that. And you can see all the sponsorship, the
Yeah.
racers winning,
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
running Liquid Molly.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
That little extra advantage is
Yeah.
all it takes.
Yeah,
Well, especially when you can't make certain mods in certain classes, and that's all you can do. I don't know what it can give you, but it's going to give you something.
makes a big, big, big difference, and as we've talked before, the thing that I like about Liquid Moly too is they're so selective, as when we spoke with Gary and what they when they all these other companies just buy crude, wherever they can get it, whether it's, doesn't matter where it's from, and I'm sure it's based off of price. And Liqui Moly is so selective about what crude they actually take in. They just don't take in any batch, of
We actually got to get him back on. I got to talk to him this weekend.
Yeah, you should talk to him because, I mean, it really, their additives are just, I mean, it speaks volumes as to why their, Liqui Moly is so successful all over the world, in terms of
Well, they got a bunch
motorsports.
of stuff coming out too. So that's we got to get Gary back on.
Yeah, I would love to get him on because,
Well, his knowledge on just the oil and the breakdown.
yeah, just about the
It's
additives
awesome.
and the product. Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. But, just such a good product. And really, their degree of support is just absolutely amazing. So I was just curious how you're making out with the Liqui Moly over there and your applications. But,
Round 6 this weekend.
yeah, big weekend coming up. Big weekend. Lots going on.
Kind of technically the last round before Nationals
Yep, yeah.
in Lake Charles. So ought to be an interesting round this weekend, being up in Lake Michigan.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, pro watercross, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. If anyone sees, we just shared their video about a half hour ago, and the CBS Sports, the way they lead into that video, the footage that they show, the coverage it's just
Well, it's on again for Lake Hartwell this weekend, right?
it should be
Friday?
But I mean that first show that they just did from Florida, which was on last Thursday, which we just
No, that was Racine last Thursday.
oh yeah,
Or
but
not Racine, I'm sorry.
Uh,
Hartwell.
Hartwell, yeah, the one, but the very first show is what we just shared on our social media channel. The quality is just it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just so amazing what pro watercross is able to do in comparison to anyone else, that sanctions or ensures or organized events. It's unbelievable. Their footage is just
I think it would have been a lot better. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't too cooperative.
and
In
Hartwell.
Hartwell?
Yeah, that was
So,
tough. That was
It
tough.
was a tough weekend.
But what they're delivering for a product
Oh.
to the world, if someone who's never seen any type of, competition watercraft event happens to flip on or happens to become exposed to that video on social media, I mean, you couldn't. There is not even remotely close. There's no one else that's presenting the product to that degree or caliber. It's not even remotely close. It's amazing what they're able to do, and it's so good, for all of these companies, for the Broward Motorsports, the HydroTurfs,
Well,
I mean,
for any of them,
yeah,
really.
for all of these companies, Riva, with Baldwin out there, and Cabrera Motorsports with all. I mean, it's such a great vehicle for
Well, it's a lot easier to go ask somebody for sponsorship when you say, "Hey,
Oh, we're on CBS Sports.
I'm on TV, so
Not just
check it
TV.
out."
I'm on CBS Sports.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's on at 2 in the morning either.
right. It's
I think
prime
the-
time. It's 8
The
p.m.
very
Eastern.
first, what was
Yeah.
it? Last year was the first year for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
8,
and it was kind of on the weird hours.
Yep.
yeah. Now
It
you're
was
8
on
p.m.
at 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. on a Thursday night here. It's unbelievable.
It's no different than watching motocross, and
Yeah.
their times fluctuate.
Exactly.
Right.
From
That's
5
if
to
they're doing live,
11.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
so it could be on at any time, but it's
Right.
still on prime time.
It's still awesome to watch. Even I can only imagine being a racer, racing the event. A couple weeks later, you go back, you could watch the event. You get to watch your
On TV.
mistakes. You get to see
Yep.
some of the imperfections and make those selective decisions. Make
Yeah.
yourself a little better.
Yeah.
I mean, those are pros. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even then, and actually, I wish they would show more of the other classes. And yes, it's not the pros, but there's some good racing in those other classes.
there is, and you can, if you really seen the whole sport in a whole, the shit's really starting to grow. You know,
Oh,
from
yeah.
the younger generation up, it's really starting to grow.
Yeah, I mean, they have a limited, I mean, they have a window, obviously, for that show.
Of
And I
course.
think what they're able to deliver as a product to people who may or may not be familiar with it is just unbelievable.
No,
They
but
do
what you could do something very similar to what NHRA does. Okay, so yes, the pro classes, they're on Sunday night, the day of the race. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then they have like the sportsman classes and the top alcohol
Right,
classes
right.
and the pro mod classes, which are still fun to watch, but it's not the big boys per se.
Right.
Okay. Have it on as a second show. I mean, it's double the exposure.
Well, you know that honestly, although you're a pro, if you watch some of the amateurs that are growing with the sport, you can actually see some of the mistakes that you're making through them. You know, and then
Well,
whether you can help them or you help yourself.
Right.
But then that helps the amateurs
Oh, of course.
get sponsorship because I'm not one of the big three classes. Who cares? I'm still on TV. I still can, hey, whoever.
You know, but
you
here's
know,
the thing.
like
I could,
like Ryan Stevens, right?
yeah,
He's going round and round. He's going to all these different events, but there's nothing, no major sponsor on the side of his boat. But show the guy riding.
Well,
And
I mean,
show it
ultimately-
at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. Who
ultimately,
cares?
that's where the YouTube and Facebook Live come from.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Mav is quite limited because of the equipment. Biggest thing is cameras, camera angles, cameramen or women. The production process of it going live
Yeah.
versus videoing and editing is totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
The live feeds sometimes are freaking awesome to watch.
Yeah.
But like go to Hartwell, I couldn't really watch it on my computer because
It's a tough
it
location.
just kept
Yeah.
skipping.
Really tough location.
They'd be at the starting line, and then next thing you know, they're 3/4 way around the track.
Yeah.
So I would like to enjoy the watch it at home, even if I can't be there. But it's tough stuff.
Yeah, I still just think, after watching that CBS video that again we just shared it on our Facebook page, it's unbelievable. I mean, no one else is remotely close in terms of promoting the sport and bringing in that mainstream like you're talking about, legitimate sponsorship. Nobody. I mean, it's not
Well, remember
even
where you guys started before the Budweiser Tour type stuff? It was all on you. It was you going to whatever local so and so to put their label on
Oh
your
yeah.
ski
Yeah, I mean that was
for a couple $100 or whatever.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
social media has really helped that, and I think, the pro watercross product of bringing that to what 500 million households is just such a great thing for the community, great thing for personal watercraft, and especially in an era, when we're personal watercraft are under such a microscope in terms of safety. It's just the statistics don't lie. A 26% increase in recreational boating accidents in 1 year is huge. And, it's going to change the landscape for personal watercraft. Absolutely. There's no question. And you're already seeing, I mean, it's funny because now the conversations that we've been having for a couple years are becoming more mainstream. You see other outlets, talking about safety issues.
Well, you
talking
see there's a lot more articles
Lot
on
more.
Facebook,
Lo-
just for basic safety.
Yeah,
And
I mean-
whether it's just putting a life jacket on or
I saw somebody today shared something from the guy that writes for the Watercraft Journal, and he was saying how when new users ask him what machine to buy, he always recommends least amount of horsepower and the less sporty version of a machine. And he even said he won't go on big rides. And I was like, well, welcome to the party. Something we've been saying for years now. I mean, look, beginners don't belong on 300 horsepower machines. Personal watercraft, especially with a lot of new enthusiasts, do not belong navigating in large groups. It's a
Well-
recipe for disaster.
right. But at the same time, if I've got $25,000 to spend, I'm gonna buy whatever I want.
Buy what you want, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Just saying.
you're right.
So
and
your
that-
goalie can stop so much.
you're right, and that's really where,
Doesn't mean that you belong on that machine.
Oh God, no.
and he's right. The guy from Watercraft Journal is 100% right by saying, hey, these people that, that don't possess.
The skill set.
Yeah, and he said his post went on. Somebody shared it, and it was a really good post, and he said that he's been riding for 20 years, and he himself has made rookie mistakes, as have a lot of seasoned operators. I think everybody, even in your vehicle, sometimes you go to turn, you pull out in front of somebody, or people make mistakes all the time. That's why they're called accidents. But the real problem with personal watercraft is from our perspective, it's too many new enthusiasts on high horsepower machines that they just don't know how to operate.
Yeah, and there's too many variables in the equation to begin with. Water conditions change constantly. And even I feel uncomfortable when we're out running buoys with the kids, and practicing with the kids. If I'm not wearing a helmet, I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've done the quick bump with the chin strap on the helmet or the chin guard on the
That's
helmet.
why you don't see me out there a lot. I mean, seriously, they're busting my chops. Come out and run with us. I mean, I'm not comfortable out there with younger riders. It's just not. I don't want to do it. And B, I mean, like you're saying, I've had that. How many times you've had that happen to you so many times, where you just get thrown into the steering column. You get out of sorts. I mean, it can happen so easily, like that. Like the Watercraft Journal guy said, things happen. Even seasoned riders make mistakes, and it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I've tapped that chin a few times on the bars last weekend, just horsing around.
That's why I think I mean, my personal opinion, I don't think you should be legally permitted to operate a boat like a GP 1800 or the 300 series RX Sea-Doos unless you can pass a test and ride a 550 in an FX1. And I mean ride it. I mean take it out wedged. You know what I mean? And really ride it. And if you can't,
But that's apples and oranges.
I'm just saying that you can ride. If you can take a 550 out and
But
rail it,
that doesn't say that
means
you
you can
can't
ride.
ride a 300.
it means you can ride though.
You can ride, but
And
that doesn't give you.
I think it
If
means
you ride a couch and then you ride a plywood, it's completely.
I think it means though you possess the skills to be able to navigate something that's very, very hard to navigate. Therefore, getting on something that's easy to go fast, you possess the skills to navigate that
Yeah,
vessel
but that's like
as well.
saying, okay, go out. If you can do this in a Prius, we'll let you buy this brand new Corvette.
Well,
I mean, that's
no,
that's what
sounds
you're
good to
saying.
me.
I think it's more like if you can take this old Vet or this old Gen 2 Camaro out and run it around a road course, then yeah, chances are you can go out in a Lambo or a Ferrari or a Porsche. You possess the skill set. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I don't think people belong on 300 horsepower machines that don't have the ability to really ride. That's just me. I mean, if you can't really go out and
But we've seen law enforcement go out that can't ride a 230 GTI.
But they'll tell you, be like, "This is my first time on
Right.
a
yeah,
jet
they don't know what
ski."
they're doing. Yeah, I mean, they get very little training and little seat time. But I'm talking, average recreational rider, guy who just wants to be the guy out there with the big fast boat. They don't belong on. I mean, just don't belong on something like
Yeah,
that.
I think.
Is it a free country? You can buy one.
Yes.
Just like you said, you can go out and buy a Hellcat. You want to go out and buy a Hellcat? You have the money to
You
do
know what
that.
you should be able to do is remember those. You have the ability on the kids' 4-wheelers to adjust the throttle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Put one of those on. You can only grab so much.
I
just
should they be
saying.
governed that's another thing, you know. I mean, until the person can
Yeah,
can
well,
ride.
every vehicle that I've ever owned, I've gotten in it, and I want to find out where that govern point is. So I didn't care if
course.
that shit was a Dodge on me, 1988, what anything. So it's just one of those things. You can be an idiot in anything.
Yeah, and that's really the problem, you know. And I think you know, I mean, you've seen it on Facebook. Those Hellcats wrapped around
Oh.
around telephone poles.
I've
You
seen
know,
them on the back of flatbed trailers wrapped around, just destroyed.
You
There's
need
a,
one of those motors.
yeah, there's a ton of them out there.
Put that in put that in the Ram.
Problem
Put
is
that in
with
a- Put that
watercraft.
in a cane.
Yeah, the problem is with watercraft, though. You know, they're typically hitting other vessels, you know, stationary objects,
Well,
swimmers.
that's awareness.
Yeah, but then that goes back to, okay, I can afford to buy that 300, but now let's do an obstacle course or let's do a training session, and you have to navigate through a bunch of obstacles.
Yeah.
And if you could do that successfully, you can
I think that's eventually.
continue to run the boat.
I think that's eventually what you'll see. I hope that's eventually what you'll see in terms of you know, mandatory education is some type of navigation course on water. I think it's long overdue.
But again, here's the thing. You're the one educating on that course. I'm your friend. I say, hey, just hook me up with that sticker, label,
right,
bam.
right.
Now I'm in it.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure.
see what I'm saying?
I'm
This is
sure
the
it
way
happens
works.
with snowmobiles.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure it happens with, you know, I mean, but it's too bad it's not similar to, you know, dirt bike smell because, you know, I mean, you know, typically, you know, you start off on the small at the 70 or the 80
Right.
and you gradually roll up to a buck and a quarter,
Right.
and then a 250 and then an open class, you know, I mean, you
it
just
ain't,
don't
It ain't like a 13-year-old jumping on a 500.
right, or
Yeah.
you just don't see some dude who's never ridden before go out and jump on a KX 500.
No way.
It just doesn't have. You would
It would
literally kill
instantly
yourself.
Kill you.
Well, we've seen that.
You do see it.
We've seen it in downtown Schenectady
see it.
going down the railroad tracks.
And there's very few idiots that do that. I mean, you know, I mean, but typically, if someone wants to get into dirt bikes tomorrow, and the guy's never ridden a dirt bike, he's not going to go out and buy a KX or a CR 500 because he's going to die. It does. It's just not going to happen. And you know, I mean, it's too bad that you know, same type of awareness or I don't know, buying didn't you know, exist within the PWC community. Everybody just wants the biggest, fastest, flashiest, and like you know, that post said, you know, unfortunately, when people get into real crisis situations on a jet ski, most
They
of them
panic.
don't know how to respond. They don't, and that's just plain and simple. And that's
Well, that comes with time, seat time.
does come with
You know, knowing your machine, knowing that when you let off the throttle, it ain't gonna move.
right.
Like, you need to understand that.
And we've talked about it a ton of times, you know, and I think it really truly comes with, you know, 35 years of ride time. You anticipate stuff. I know I anticipate stuff, and I'm always amazed how when you're riding and you think in your head, oh, I hope this boat doesn't turn or this operator doesn't do this, and they do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just becomes. I think you're
I
right.
think one of the biggest things you should always think isn't necessarily the worst thing that could possibly happen, but let it float in your mind.
What could happen?
What could?
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of these noobs haven't seen situations like that occur before, and they don't anticipate a lot of those problems. You know, like you're saying, changing water conditions. I know when I'm riding really fast and what the boat's starting to do, whether I should be on or off the throttle. You know what I mean?
Well,
And I-
But that was the difference when we all did the ride up to the Bachelorville Bridge,
Yeah,
and you and I were up front and gone,
yeah,
and everybody else was 5 minutes behind us,
yeah.
literally, because they weren't ready for those conditions.
On
You
how-
and I
are just
have been
comfortable
on
with
those
how the
conditions
boat
before. We've
yeah.
raced in those conditions before, and we've wreck rided in those conditions before.
You know what the boat's typically going to do, and or you can anticipate based upon what water
Experience.
conditions and what you,
Experience.
yeah,
Plain and simple.
you're able to read
Right,
stuff.
Because the water changes instantly.
Right.
Yeah,
And we've pushed the limits of the vessel.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I mean, there's not many times that it's not to the bars.
yeah, and like I said, over a 35-year period, you've done a lot of riding, experienced, how the boat's going to respond and what to expect, what to anticipate, and I think that's why, one reason a lot of the newer riders get into trouble because they just haven't yet learned, or just don't possess all, just like anything else, the more you do it, the more knowledge you acquire throughout the years. So,
Well, okay. Well, one of the situations. What if you're heading towards something? You're cruising. What the hell do you do when I mean, it's coming closer. It's coming closer. Coming closer. There is technically no reverse. And if you grab that left handle and the Yami or the Cowie with the plastic handle, if you grab that shit, your face is hitting the bar.
Well,
So
you need to plan
let
ahead of
up.
time.
yeah,
If you see it
yeah.
coming, you need to start planning then.
yeah,
Well,
and I-
we have riders that have ridden with us, in turn, that have. There's trees coming out of the ground and they still don't see the shit. Like, I mean, there's objects that are obvious.
yeah, yeah,
There's
and I
still-
think that comes with, that's another thing that just comes with so much ride time is you become so much more situationally aware. Like when we were coming back from the bridge that you referenced, there was a boat hauling the mail coming from behind us, and I signaled intern because I'm like, this effing guy doesn't know what's going on here, doesn't know that there's a book because and you just have to. I think you just develop those habits, of knowing what's everywhere. And even though it's maybe 100 yards away or 50 yards away,
Well, the biggest thing is never trust the other riders.
Mm-hmm.
That's
or boater,
boaters.
yeah,
Any of it. I'm not saying only jet ski
Yeah,
riders.
yeah,
I'm
no, you're
saying
right.
boaters are just as bad because some of the boaters are so high up
yeah, they
they
can't,
can't see your little ass anyways.
Yeah, and
X2s, HXs, any of those.
yeah, even some of the modern boats, I mean, when a lot of these boaters are, driving with sun glare and spray coming off of their bow, it's hard to see, a three-seater jet ski. If you're in a 40-foot cabin cruiser, I mean, a jet ski's it's like a kayak.
Yeah, but at least you're sitting here
Yeah, no,
compared to some of these newer power boats that have been showing up on the lake
which
that are giant tunnel hulls, giant speedboats. They're sitting at a let's
Exactly.
say negative angle.
yeah,
Exactly.
You're sitting in the chair back here, and I got to look out over that bow.
Yeah,
don't
you're
care.
talking,
I'm looking up and over. I'm not going to see what's out in front
Can't
of
see
me.
talking
anything.
8-foot drop
can't
from
see
the
anything.
nose down to the water.
Yeah,
So,
Oh, and there's been more and more and more of those showing up on the lake.
Yeah, and it
especially in
doesn't-
Sacandaga, as big as it is,
Yeah.
as nice as it is.
It's still a small lake for some of
Oh,
them
I
big
agree.
ass boats.
and it doesn't help, when you have the uneducated PWC operators ripping between boats, trying to catch a boat's wake and cutting in front of other vessels. You know what I mean? That's really where a lot of these situations occur, because the jet ski is so tiny in comparison to other boats out there, and when you're ripping close to boats to try and weave through traffic and try and catch somebody's boat wake to get a little bit of air, that's where a lot of these situations are occurring, and that's where a lot of
And they get ugly too when
yeah,
that happens.
and we've
Well,
seen there's
I've
been a
seen
lot of
on
videos.
social media.
There's been a lot of videos this year of wake jumping off of a boat where boats are colliding. Sparks, stand-ups, three-seaters, they're all on social media. I mean, literally,
don't
just,
get me wrong. Look, I know it's not recommended. You're not supposed to do that. But if it's something that you do, you really have to pay attention to everybody around. And I only know this from experience.
hey, all I know is the
I'm
people
not
that do
saying
that,
you should.
the people that do it successfully, that jump boat wakes, have a pattern.
Yes.
Have a pattern how it's done, how
But you see each other.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a
I'm
pa-
just-
They're not jumping at
No.
each other.
Hell no.
If they're going to
no-
do it, you got two big wake boats, and you're going in between. You know nobody's on the backside of that.
That's right.
This
even
is
when
staged and ready to go.
when people that we know go to enter into a boat wake, they already know that what's in the wake is clear. Their
Yes.
landing zone is clear.
Mm-hmm.
You already know that.
Well,
And
that's what I'm saying. That comes with the communication of the riders. What I'm saying
100%.
is, let's just say it's us three doing that. We can look at each other. We can tell each other just from looking at each other who's going,
A nod or
who's
something.
next. Oh,
Yeah.
don't go. Don't rush it. Wait that extra couple minutes.
Mhm.
Because that 2-3 minutes for, we'll just say, Jody to go through. Kevin's going through. I make sure it's clear. You guys are way out of my way. And then I do it. I'm
That's
just saying. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
no,
it's
you're exactly
recommended,
right. I
but
think that's what I mean, we've done for years. For years, there's an unset. It's not even said. It's not written. It's a unsaid routine of how you enter into.
The boat wake.
Yeah. It's just. I mean, it's just. It's a pattern. It's a system, and I think if when it's done properly, it's really pretty safe. Everybody's there looking out for everyone else anyway. If somebody goes down, everybody's right there. But there's just so much of that, and again, it comes down to people weaving in and out, not knowing how to operate with other vessels on the water, and not thinking safety first. And
I mean, Jody's have created wakes for the guys that do the flips. We have a friend that does it.
Mm.
But you know what Jody does? Jody drives a boat. There's more than him in the boat
Yeah,
to
spotters.
watch the general area. And if I'm a spotter in the back of the boat and I see this guy to the left or the right coming in, you can yell, stop.
yeah.
Jody can stop the wake instantly. So there's a lot of options there.
Yeah, I think there's, it's like I said, it's definitely going to change the landscape of the PWC community. All of
Well-
these accidents, all of these big gatherings where you have people
I just want people to understand that we're not perfect, and we
No,
do
dude, we
some of the
make
dumb
mistakes.
shit, but we know how to do some of the dumb shit. You know what
Try
I'm
to
saying?
minimize.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, minimize risk. I mean, I mean, if there's, I mean, personal watercraft are inherently dangerous anyway. So anything you're out there doing is going to be dangerous. And if you engage in some of these activities, where you're pushing the vessel and you're having a little bit of fun on it, and you're outside of, how it's out of
comfort zone.
normal operating, there's ways to do it and remain safe and watch out for other vessels as well as the people that you're with. So that'll before we go, we got to give some love to Watercraft Superstore SBT Blacktip. Peak season right now. Everybody's out of parts. Everybody's out of parts. Tried to get a complete gasket kit from our friends at gasket and seal kit from WSM Performance Products. They emailed me back. They're like, "Bro, we're sorry. We're out," and ended up getting a WSM kit somewhere else. But Watercraft Superstore, all those the hard to find parts, plus
How fast did you get that email back?
instantly from
That's all I want to hear.
yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean,
Customer service.
when you're dealing with Watercraft Superstore, Liquid Molly, WSM, Bomber Floating Eyewear, I mean, these are companies that are really rider focused, are just incredible assets and supporters of the community, and they're, like Mel said, their customer service is second to none. But back to Watercraft Superstore, that time of year, anything you need PWC related, your one-stop shop. While everybody else is scrambling for parts, Watercraft Superstore's got it in stock, and they're able to get it out to you, expedite it really quickly, and get you back out on the water.
And actually, this is the time of the year you should be looking for your covers.
Yeah.
While they have them
Yep.
in stock.
Yep. start thinking about stocking up on your winterizing kits. Get your liquid moly oil. Get your WSM oil
Filters.
filter. You know, get all your stuff ready for the winter. Like Jody said, Watercraft Superstore covers. You know,
Well,
even
not
trailer
everybody
parks.
has winter.
Yeah, even
True.
It starts. Ours starts in August. So
Yeah,
get your
end of August.
filters in.
even trailer parts. Watercraft Superstore.
Like for my trailer that we live in.
No.
Oh,
Bomber floating eyewear. A lot of love going out to Bomber. You know,
You'll be rocking those this weekend.
yeah, you know, I mean, look, Tommy
Every
Bonacci
day.
won a world title back in the day on the Bud Tour. You know, guy's just a legend within the community. He's created a great line of sunglasses for the water. They float. They're they're very, very good at keeping, allowing you to keep focus on
I
what
tell
you're
you.
doing.
some of their posts with their photos, they're
Top
hard
notch.
to keep focused on.
Focused?
Focused.
On spot, Watercraft's
Bombers.
Bomber floating
See,
eyewear.
you just thought about one of those pictures.
Kind of threw me off a little bit. Last but not least, WSM Performance Products. You know, thanks to them for all that they do. We actually have 2 sets of WSM. We'll put up pictures. 2 sets of WSM pistons out in the Brap Cave. One going in the Polaris Hurricane conversion 701. The second set going in the Frankie Wave Blaster, which will be given away on September 11th. Jet Fest. Yeah, that's nothing. That'll make you lose focus.
Yeah.
Jet Fest September 11th, giving away a used SUV, Yamaha 440, Kawasaki 440, and a Yamaha wet piped wave blaster with brand new WSM internal components. So we're back next Wednesday. Everybody stay safe out there. Have a nice weekend. And
If you're going to Racine, come by and say hi.
Racine, Wisconsin. Racing and Racine.